Just setting things up here. Let's see if we can do another Cavendish run this afternoon. So let's see if we can get the camera set. Get the camera set up for a time lapse. And let's see, shooting interval will be 20 seconds. And we'll make the image count 540 frames. There we go. Set that. And set the aspect ratio. Okay. So let's see if we can get the camera set up over here. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, 7-11. 238. And we'll move the weights and start the camera. That should have us going. Hello, everybody. See a bunch of you out there in the chat. Hello, Dora, Robert, Doug, Facty, Eric, Dog Walker, and John Watson. Hopefully you guys are picking up some audio. I wonder if I remembered to turn it on. Let's see. Oh yeah, it looks like it's working. Oh yeah, we're going now, huh? I'm not exactly sure when I started this, probably around 2:39. So if that's true, about 2:47 probably will be the peak. We'll let the egg timer go for a little while. Hey, good. Thanks, guys. I sometimes forget to turn the mic on. It's controlled over through the OBS. And I turn it off when I'm making a bunch of racket. But it's good to see everybody on a lovely Sunday afternoon. Hello, Larry DeMarch from 50 North. You know, it's hard for me to believe these knuckleheads are still trying to deny that mass attracts mass. It's amazing. How many times have we done this now? And it always does the same thing. Sorry about the focus on the laser camera. I don't know. Had a power outage the other day. Yesterday, as a matter of fact. And somehow the focus on that camera is all out of whack now, and I can't get it to... I couldn't make it look any better than the garbage you're looking at on the screen at the moment, but at least you can see the spot. I'm not terribly concerned because I'm making a time lapse of it, so I've got a very high definition 4K video, this time lapse video that's being made. So that kind of negates the requirement for this to look all that pretty, but I still wish I could make it look better. I'll try to work on that in the next day or two, see if we can get it sorted out. I don't know what's going on with it. Shout out to John Watson for £5. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, John. Gravity isn't a force. Well, no. Sure acts like one, doesn't it? Yeah. If mass attracts mass, how can gas stick to the ball? Yeah, you're right, Dora. You've been listening to those idiots too much. Eric says he hasn't heard of Ozzy Jeebus. Ozzy Jeebus, yeah. I believe I've heard of him. And he is about a half a bubble out of plumb. There's no doubt about that. If you're listening, Ozzy, get some help, man. That's all I can tell you. Hello, madman. Whoops. Quiet. Let's see where we are. I might turn one of these little gizmos on. Like that little gizmo. Let's see which way the dot's moving. If the dot's moving. I think that's just about it. So we'll start our timer again. See what kind of oscillation we got going on. Dang, fries are done. You're right, Sean. Sean, you say you got blocked on Jim Panda's server. Did you get blocked or just muted, or what happened? Monochromatic light source. That's an interesting take on it. CAD supercomputer, no, it is definitely a ball. It is not a pancake. We've settled that 2,300 years ago. No point in trying to deny it. Here's an interesting question for the flirts out there. So you guys think about this one. Now we know we can take a compressed air tank and we can weigh the tank when it's empty or just atmospheric pressure. And we can pump the pressure up inside the tank, not to the point that it becomes liquid, but just to a pressure. And we can actually measure the change in weight of the tank. Okay. So there's no liquid sitting in the bottom of it. It's all gas inside the tank. And according to the flat earthers, gas moves in all directions. So gas is bouncing off all of the internal walls of the tank, right? Well, sure. But where does the increase in weight come from? If you've got equal numbers of air molecules bouncing off the top of the tank and the side of the tank and the bottom of the tank, how could that gas add any weight to the tank? And there's no other. Let's make it even a little more interesting. Make it simply nitrogen. So there's no other gas in there other than nitrogen. So there is no relative density issue. It's all the same stuff. Yet the tank will weigh more when it's got nitrogen in it than it does when it doesn't have nitrogen in it. Seems to be a problem here. In order for it to weigh more gas molecules need to be hitting the bottom of the tank than the top of the tank, don't they? Wouldn't you think? How could that be happening? Hey, shout out to Aussie Globehead, Australian $10. Blue, is your Cavendish controlled by the Chinese communists? Not to my knowledge. I searched the property this morning, 357 in hand, trying to find the communists so that I could properly detain them, and they were nowhere to be found. I don't know where those guys are. But at the moment, I can assure you there are no Chinese communists here in the vicinity of Cavendish. AT2 Productions. Hello, Jared. How you doing? Hello, Fred. And I see Jogsy up there. Howard Moore, hello. And Dog Walker, I think you're right. The SI units have to be for relative density, disequilibrium, need to be unicorn farts. Yes. Quite true. And yes, John, absolutely. I know you are right about that. A full O2 tank is heavy. Used to experience that with the oxygen tank, compressed air tanks that I carried in the airplane, just in case I felt like going above recommended altitudes. And when they were empty, when the tank was empty, it didn't weigh hardly anything. But you would definitely notice it when you filled it up. And it was pressurized about like a scuba tank is. Something on that order. Madman says you don't need to account for weight without gravity. That is true. There is no weight without gravity. Weight's meaningless. Eggs are done. Let's see if I can move my little marker thingy. So that'll give us some idea about where we're oscillating between those 2 points. Hello, no name. And I'm over in Discord if anybody wants to join, but give me a little heads up because I'm in the special place. And if you come in over there, I won't hear you. I'll have to go move you into that room. Hello, Robert Caslow. Don't know why you're not blue, but we'll fix that for you. And quite true, Eric. Objects do weigh less at altitude. Quite noticeably, as a matter of fact. And that should go the other direction with relative density. I don't know if you guys know who BioDuel is. BioDuel put together a simple version of Cavendish that he could put in that he could do in a vacuum, and he did that last weekend and showed mass attracting mass in a vacuum, which is one of the complaints some of the flat earthers had made, trying to say that it doesn't work in a vacuum. Of course, we've only seen that demonstrated over and over again. If you're looking for really, really good accuracy in this experiment, that's how it's done. It's always done in a vacuum. And it's been done that way for at least the last 100 years. But that's a tall order just for, we'll call it garage science, okay? I would have really, really had a problem trying to do this thing in a vacuum. In fact, I'll just go on a limb and say it's not even possible to do it with this style of Cavendish apparatus without a tremendous amount of effort. Would have really been hard to do. Would take a very large, very expensive vacuum chamber. So what's the point? We're not trying to come up with a better measurement of G at all. I'm happy enough to get where we got. "27 people watching, that's great. Glad to see you guys. Apparently not a lot happening today, huh?" Eric, the guy's name, the guy's YouTube name is BioDuel, BIODUEL. Capital B, little I, little O, capital DUEL. BioDuel. I think you can find him easy enough just searching YouTube. So he doesn't have a big channel, but he's got come to think of it, though, that he live streamed it, and it was on Twitch, I think. I got a link to it someplace. In fact, he wants the Pepsi challenge. Oh, sure. Why not? Yeah, QE did a hit piece on him, huh? It wasn't about that. It was not. QE's hit piece, though, didn't have anything to do with this Cavendish. It was QE being QE and being dishonest about pressures, and in fact, I returned the favor. My latest video is about that video QE did. And as usual, QE is trying to convince people that going from 0.1 millimeters of mercury down to essentially 0 is a huge change in pressure. No, it's not. It's a tiny change in pressure. No, no name. I haven't seen that. Have to check that out. And yes, Robert, QE is a twat waffle. No doubt about it. Yeah, let's see. So that's around 221. Eric, I don't know if it's unlisted or not. It's about 28 hours of video. But the video, as I say, I think is over on Twitch. I don't know if he's got a link on there or not. I've got a link to it. But I don't have it handy right now. I'll find it for you. Let's see, Eric. I think I can. I'm afraid to try to open that link from here. I might take myself offline. Yeah, he's got a green laser. And the damn thing is refracting through all that, through that circular tube he's got his in. So the laser's not a dot, it's a big blob of goo. But you can definitely see it move. He's got some little stainless steel weights that are hanging on his torsion balance. And then he's using cast iron workout weights for his large masses. But he only did it to show the effect, so it doesn't have to be pretty, and it doesn't have to be accurate. He's not trying to obtain any usable numbers from it. So it did perfectly fine for what he wanted to do, and that's just show that the air doesn't have anything to do with making the damn thing move. The only thing the air inside the enclosure does is add a potential source of error, that's all. It slows down, it's a damping factor, as we know. One of only two you have, it's the resistance of the air, and the only other damping factor you've got is the internal resistance of the torsion wire itself. But having air present clearly has nothing to do with it, with mass attracting mass. But there are a few knotheads out there like Spurs Chemo who continually made that assertion. My position was simply, if you're going to claim that this does not work in a vacuum, then you need to do the experiment yourself and show that it doesn't work in a vacuum. Show that it works when the air's in it, and show that it doesn't work when you take the air away. But BioDeal stepped up to the challenge and decided just to prove it himself, so good for him. Yeah, that's a good point, Eric, and I found that amusing. Bio was able to get qualitative results in just a few days with a fairly minimal effort, really. And Sleeping Warrior and that group of mental midgets worked on it for months and couldn't get it to work. But I'll tell you this too, and so will Bio, that he gave me some rough dimensions and rough weights of things, and from that I could give him a recommendation on the type and size of torsion wire that he needed, and I could have done that for Sleeping Warrior too, but Anthony would not share any information at all. He wouldn't tell us anything about what he was doing or how he was doing it. So without that, we're not able to give him any help at all either. Stop that. Let's see where this thing went to that time. Uh-huh. One 162. I really think that people like Dr. John D. and Anthony Riley and the rest of them do not believe that we are actually smart enough to be able to design one of these things and predict the performance of it before we ever build it. I think they think it's all just magic. You go out in the garage and just start screwing shit together and hope for the best, and it really doesn't work that way. And the fact is, this thing works exactly the way we predicted it was going to work. The only thing I did was just go through a whole bunch of different wire types to have a look at how they behaved, to see which one gave the best stability. But even then, you know with each type of wire what to expect it to do. You don't need to guess at it. It's all really very simple physics. Most any college sophomore would have no problem with this at all. Hey, Lefty. Yeah, Dr. John D. He is about as clueless as they get. Pardon me, coffee went down the wrong way. Hey, I got a question for you, Lefty. Did you tell me one time that you had a way to engrave these vernier scales? Hey, Dora, see you later. Thanks for dropping by. Always good to see you. These things I've been using are just printed on, well, they're printed off the printer in there, and they're not the cleanest scales in the world. I think before this thing finds its way to its permanent home, I'd like to put some better scales in there. Yeah, CNC engraver. Yeah, I know how to acid etch brass, Sean. I've done enough printed circuit boards in my life. I know exactly how to do that. But to do it the way I know how to do it, you need a good photo negative to begin with. Well, if I could find one, Fred, an engineer's ruler would be fine. But, you know, duplicating what Cavendish had, he did something really strange. He had marked everything off in 20ths of an inch. So it's hard to find a 20th of an inch scale with 20ths of an inch markings. And then you've got the problem of of generating the vernier portion of it, which is not 20ths any longer. Then that scale changes. It's a pain in the ass. So the divisions on the fixed scale, the divisions on the fixed scale that I've got are 1/20th of an inch, 0.05, but the divisions on the vernier are 0.045. And that's how you get the vernier to work. Calipers are marked in thousandths normally, Lefty. Hey, 33 people watching. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you. Anybody wants in the voice chat part of it here, I'm over on Discord. Have I tried to steer it? Yeah, I'm sure if anybody had it, steer it would. And as you know, I've got steer it tools, Sean, and they come at a high premium. I think my combination square cost me about $120. Oh yeah, monochromatic light source. Yeah, yeah. I'm well versed in that technique. Uh, that's an old drafting trick, and it's the same trick we use when we're laying out stuff like in carpentry. If you're laying out stuff like dovetails, it's exactly how we do it. Just need to figure out how many of them you want. Hello, Mike71. No, I haven't done that. I haven't done anything with magnets, just simply because it's all been done before. I don't think we need to do it again. I've adequately demonstrated that this stuff is all non-magnetic. You've got nothing but brass and lead involved. Wood. So, and I never really wanted to get off into the trying to respond to all of the flat earth bullshit. Because I frankly don't care what they think. They don't have to believe this. They can go right on and be as ignorant as they want to be. We were trying to do Cavendish and get usable data, and that's what we've done. And in the process, I want to avoid being distracted by all of their crap. When you start playing their game, you know, what about sand? What about granite? What about crushed lizards? I mean, the list would go on forever. Hello, Gord. Good to see you, man. Let's see just roughly where the center of this oscillation is. It's at about 191.5. Has anyone noticed the absence of flirfs? Where's why bother? Why bother's not allowed in here. Why bother made the mistake of coming here and attacking people in the chat, and I just won't have that. So since why bother doesn't know how to behave, he can stay out. Hello, Ace Fox. Yeah, Joker's relaxing with Mrs. Blue at the moment, watching television. I'm not sure what he's watching, but he seems to like action films. That damn crazy dog will actually watch television too. Whoops. All right. This thing has sat stationary for quite a while. Uh, I haven't run any recent tests on it, so we could see a little bit of setting in the wire. I don't know. We'll see when it runs through. And John, I haven't heard anything else from George, but haven't really expected to. I'm sure he's got more than enough to do. At least he's okay. For those of you that don't know or haven't heard, George Natchik, most of you will probably know who that is. George had a fire last week that totally destroyed his house and all of the contents. And George and his dog's name is Con. George and Con were out eating with friends when the fire happened. So the best I can tell from what George said, it was just nothing left but charcoal. Of course he's okay and the dog's okay, and that's what's important. But in the process, George lost all of his, quite a bit of his material, his library and notes and records and stuff he's been keeping for years, surveying equipment, electronic equipment, all kinds of stuff. And it's all just stuff, and you can get new stuff. But some stuff is just simply not replaceable. Hello, Vanguard Shield. I can sit here in this shop and looking at a couple of hand saws of mine that date back to about 1870, and they're some of my favorite saws. If something happened to them, there's no way to replace them. Some of the hand planes and stuff like that. Not to mention all the personal junk. I mean, it's just absolutely. I can't imagine what that would be like. But George is a tough little bird. He'll pull through it, I'm sure. Eric George has got property out in Colorado, I think. So he's still got stuff out there. He's got a shop thing totally separate and away from his house up there in Minnesota. But he also had a whole lot of his stuff there at his home, of course. So he hasn't lost everything he owned by any stretch, but he lost a significant amount of important things that would be very important to him, like his library. I mean, he's like myself and most of you guys. I mean, you're still hanging on to textbooks and records and stuff that date all the way back to your college days. I've still got a lot of my university texts that I kept over the years. So what do you do with that? I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. You could easily go back and find identical books, but it's not the same thing. I don't want another college chemistry book or calculus book or physics text, or just like the one I've got. I want the one I've got, the one I went to school using. I don't want another one. It wouldn't be the same thing. So yeah, it's a real shame. I'm going to try and check on George periodically, but I don't want to bother him right now. I know like I said, he's got way too many other things on his mind than to have to stop and answer questions. He said he thought it was a lithium battery charging system that malfunctioned. Yeah, Mr. Cudley, I've got my slide rule from the day too. A thing called a K&E log duplex. Mine's got sentimental value to it. It was actually given to me by the Society of Civil Engineers. When I graduated from high school. I could learn to really hate this damn thing. I'm going to watch this a little closer because I think I've got my timing out just a bit. Yeah, that's right, Cuddly. Very few people know what I'm talking about when I call it a log. And Eric, no, I don't know what I don't. Capital Radio Engineering Institute doesn't ring any bells, but doesn't probably just means I forgot. I'm gonna go off mic for a minute. Got to go to the little boy's room. And I'm back. Joker's watching westerns, so he's in good shape for the time being. So welcome, Scott. Make you a moderator too. And you said, is there a spreadsheet or other document posted online showing the data? There actually, you'll find there are two videos to do with the testing, and in both of them you can see the spreadsheets. I haven't actually posted those spreadsheets at any place where anybody can get to them, but I plan on doing that. Yeah, there's a couple of, well, no, it's not a couple. It's a single Excel spreadsheet that contains all of the data, all of the calculations, showing everything. I got to check out the way Excel saves data. I think I can publish that stuff without doxing myself. Need to be sure though. Ace Fox says a dog named Joker watching westerns, whose owner runs a science channel. Does that make Joker a space cowboy? Pretty much. Pretty much. Joker is a comical animal. But back to the data, you can go through those two videos that discuss the testing, and you can stop them, and all the numbers are there. The actual calculations are yeah, it's shown. It's all shown. So got you, Eric. Yeah, CSV files. I seem to recall years and years ago that if you got into it, you could find that Word documents and Excel documents and PowerPoint documents, all that, it carries with it some information about who created it and when it was created and all that. I don't know if that's still true or not, but I think it was at one point. You guys probably know. Well, Scott, what I am going to publish too, because this time on this last 4 or 5 tests that I've been running, I'm making uh, time-lapse videos of every run. So I'll make that available, and that condenses 3 hours down into 2 minutes or less. And then you can take software like Tracker and extract all the information you want from it very quickly. Yeah, that's what I thought, Eric. That's why I haven't made. That's why I haven't posted those or put those raw files up for anybody. Not that I care, but I get enough crap out of flat earthers anyway without making it easy for them. Scott, I'm afraid you're absolutely correct. I don't see a good way uh, for me to build an interferometer in the garage that's going to detect gravitational waves. I just don't think I'm that clever. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want Nathan Thompson showing up at my door. That would not be a good day for me or Nathan. Yeah, just writing some numbers down. Let's see. What were we talking about? Rob, I completely agree with you, and I'm in the process of writing a paper on this to discuss how this thing was done and present the data. And I'm going to do what I can do to try to get it published in some scientific journal or the other. I can't see anybody being interested in it for the purpose of a legitimate, scientific paper as such. But I can see it getting published by magazines. Are always looking for the human interest sort of thing, and if it's got an air of legitimacy about it, which I think this certainly does. I don't see any reason why somebody might not like to have this, just to, if it's written that in that sense. Is more of an interest story than anything else. To say, hey, you guys out there can still do some science in your garage if you really want to. That's exactly what I was thinking, Lefty. Boy, talking about some pissed off flat earthers. Can you imagine this thing showing up in Scientific American? Oakley will have a heart attack. Oh, exactly, Rob. A historical look back on Cavendish is the direction to go with it, I think. Everybody in the world's familiar with this experiment. I mean, everybody is. Anybody that's gone through college physics has seen it, heard of it, or actually done it themselves. It's not a big deal. It's very common. But the unique part about this is that it's done as closely as I could do it to a replica of the way Cavendish did his, and that you do not see. Modern day torsion balances don't look anything like this, nor should they. This was a pretty crude way of doing it, and even Cavendish said if he did it again, he'd do it differently. I have to agree with you, Judy. I don't know that Oakley's ever heard of Scientific American. Maybe. I think we'd call this probably if to get it published, it would have to be written more like a magazine article, not like a technical paper. Hey, 30 people watching. I really appreciate you guys showing up. Let's see how much time we got, or how many shots we got left over here. So the counter's on 301, and I was going to move the weights at about 270. We're coming down to them. Got to remember which way this thing is going. This is upscale, so I'm going to let it go. Weights are in the west position. I'm going to mark this one. Which is pretty much where it is. I moved everything a little bit, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Still went down to about 164. Thereabouts at 359. We've been holding steady at 21.8 to 22 C. I'll just call it 22 degrees C. So unfortunately, this thing may decide to deflect all the way off the screen. It probably will when I move these weights, but I might try to pan the camera a little bit. I'm not worried, like I said earlier, I'm not worried about that all that much because I've got the time lapse running. So that's what the data is going to be taken from anyway. And this YouTube stuff is more just to demonstrate that I'm not playing around doing anything funny. Hey, welcome, Ray. Yeah, you're a little late, but not too late. We're only about halfway through, so that'll be all good. So, what are you guys talking about? Barry says, I think half the flirts could make it to orbit and still say the Earth is flat. Yeah, I think so. You're challenging a religious belief. I have to agree, Cuddly, they are slow, no doubt about it. Who watched Richard Branson's flight today? Unfortunately, they weren't getting a very good downlink on the video from it, so we didn't get to see a lot of the internal stuff going on inside the spaceship. But we did get to see a little bit. They'll have all of that video that was recorded in the spacecraft itself. But of course, the flirts are all going to claim that was doctored and edited and et cetera, et cetera. Hey, B-Ball, good for you. Yeah, I watched it too, man. It is surprising how quickly those guys can make it back down from 280,000 feet. That thing's got the glide ratio of a Baldwin piano. Yeah, the Earth just looks around because our eyeballs are round. All right, time to move the balls. Alright, let's see where this thing goes now. Sorry, swallowed my coffee the wrong way. Yeah. So let's see. Monochromatic light source wants to know where the salt is added. No salt required. It just does what it does. So I'll move my markers around, get them out of the way. Out of curiosity, let me see if I can get the camera to pan just a little bit. Well, that seemed to work. Amazing. So, Cuddly, you say you would be happier if the big balls were rigidly located and not dangling. Then how do we move them? You can join over on my in my Discord, John. Are you got a link to it, or you know where you've been on there before, haven't you? If you don't have it, John, there's a link to it. Go into the general chat when you get over there, and I'll move you down to the YouTube Live. Yeah, just click on general chat. There you go. Can you hear me now, John? I see you're unmuted. Are you hearing me, John? Well, I don't know what happened, John. I saw you in there, and I moved you into the room. I think you were in general chat. I put you down in YouTube Live. My mic over there staying lit up constantly. So I may be having some problems with Discord. I'm not sure. I'm just going to go into the general chat and see if that works any better.
I'm here. Just not getting any audio at all.
Yeah, I got you now, John.
Oh, I can hear you. You're very, very low.
Oh, am I? All right, hang on. That's all the mic volume I've got. I don't know
How
why.
about now?
Yeah, you're okay.
That's I can hear you now. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you fine.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, I just thought I'd stop by and say hello.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Mrs. John is away saving the world again,
Oh, is she?
and I'm home alone. You know, I don't have any paint to watch dry, so I thought I'd stop by and have a look at the Cavendish.
No cricket matches on. No wet paint.
Well, there's an English soccer match, which I think is happening right now. But
No, that actually moves along. You can't complain about the soccer matches.
but I'm not really into soccer or football, as we call it here. So I should be watching, I suppose, but I'd rather just stop by the Cavendish, to be honest.
Yeah, I haven't done much in the last couple of weeks, and I thought it's about time to crank this thing back up, and need to run it a few more times. Finish getting these time-lapse videos that I wanted to have to complete the proper documentation, so that people don't have to try to watch a 3 or 4 hour YouTube video. These time lapses are nice. They condense 3 hours of this stuff down into 2 minutes.
How long are you going to have this set up, do you think? Because you won't do it forever, surely.
No, it'll be gone by the end of the year. I'll have it out of here probably in November.
You'll have a lot of data by then.
Got a lot of data now.
Yes. Yeah.
Got a ton of data right now. How's the telescope doing, John?
Well, yeah, pretty good. Well, I've got a 6-inch refractor, which I'm just using for solar stuff, and that's really producing some quite remarkable images of sunspots and stuff. I'm really quite surprised just how good it is. And I got Sean Hawkins is still here, but I bought a hydrogen alpha filter from Sean recently, and so I'm still I've got some teething problems. I'm still trying to set that up properly, but yeah, but I'm still. The aim is in like this month and next month, I'm going to build the observatory over. You've seen sent you pictures. Build an observatory over that permanently mounted telescope pier and get ready for the winter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all coming together slowly. Yeah.
Yeah. Monochromatic in the chat wants to know if I would auction off the Cavendish. I'm not going to do that. It has a home. I'm just not ready to say where that home is. But it's going to go to good use. And I think everybody will be satisfied when I finally get around to confessing.
Is it gonna go into like a big crate, like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and get wheeled into a massive
exactly.
warehouse?
Yeah, it's going to say top secret on the side of the crate. And the last you'll see of it is it disappearing on the forks of a forklift truck as it goes into the super secret storage facility run by the Illuminati.
Yep. Thought so.
And I'm going to get a special pass to the local Freemason gathering where we will honor it appropriately. Hang on.
I've been.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
I've been asked. I've been asked twice to join the Freemasons, and asked once to join the Knights Templar. I'm never really sure what to think about that, and I said no, but Christ, I don't even know what that means. But it's a really big thing in Scotland, the Freemasons. I'm not sure how prevalent it is in the United States, but it's quite a big thing. And they say it's not a secret society. It's a society with secrets, which is as clear as mud. And I think that's the intention. But yeah.
Hey, Lefty, I like the way you think. Yeah, Cavendish Physics Lab in Cambridge. That would be good. I think the shipping cost might be a little extreme, though.
You know, the Tulia Thumb said, "Not the wee free." These are like, I mean, the Scottish religious extremists that live predominantly on the Western Isles, the northwestern Western Isles. And when I worked there as a diver, I heard this story that on Sundays the church would padlock the children's swings in the swing park, to the frame of the swing so that the kids couldn't use them. And I thought, that's not true, surely. And I went there, and it is true. They're crazy. Well, by my standards. So, yeah.
Let's see, we went to 198. At something like 423. I don't have to do this, but I just try to keep track of it. manually, get some idea of where we are. Yeah. That's enough data taken. Let's see what the infamous red dot's doing now. How do you like my annoying egg timer? You still with me, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The the birds can get quite noisy round about this time, so I apologise for that if it happens.
No, you're good.
It's quite a nice noise, but they seem to be behaving so far.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting about the usual deflection expected. I'll know for sure after I go and do the analysis with the tracker software. This thing's actually producing a pretty tight data set with this tungsten wire in it.
Has there been a way that you can analyze your data to subtract outliers, or have you just been like taking everything?
I've been pretty much just taking everything. The first two tests series, I just decided to arbitrarily throw out the high and throw out the low. And you see that done a lot with this sort of testing. Although it really didn't change anything. I could have left them in there, and it moved the average very, very slightly. Barely enough to even talk about.
I mean, if you've got, if you're going to be running this for, over many months, I suppose it doesn't really. It would make a difference if you had a short period and a small data set that you would want to refine. But if you've got lots and lots of data, then I suppose it wouldn't really make that much difference, would it?
No, it doesn't. I've got a total of 30-something, 32. Yeah, something like 32 total tests in the book so far, and not counting any that I've done. I think I've got 4 or 5 in this series. Yeah, with that kind of data sets, you don't really need to, unless you get one that's just wildly out of whack, and you have a reason that you can say, hey, I need to toss that piece of data because this happened or that happened or whatever. Then you're perfectly justified in doing that. Otherwise, just keep the data, and it is what it is.
So what's your compared to the agreed gravitational constant, how close are you to that with what you've done so far?
Within about I'm within about 0.8%.
0.8%.
Yeah.
That's not.
I don't think
that's not too shoddy.
Well, for what it is and the way I'm doing it, I don't think I could not have hoped for the result to be any better than what it is. It's sort of amazed me, honestly.
How accurate did you think you were going to get before you started?
I was hoping that I could get within 5%.
Right.
It didn't really occur to me that it would be able to get as close as it does.
Yeah. But you've gone to great lengths. I mean, it's quite a fine construction to begin with, but as you went along, you've kind of ironed out problems and refined it and made it better and better. So, I'm not surprised with that accuracy. To be honest, I had every faith.
I'm glad somebody did. I didn't. You start with something like this thinking, boy, I hope I don't make a complete jackass of myself and show up, an order of magnitude out of whack or something.
That would be embarrassing.
The commercial ones.
What difference did it?
The commercial ones that they sell will not guarantee an accuracy any better than about 20%.
What difference did it make when you copper lined it and earthed it?
Well, I got rid of. I was clearly seeing some electrostatic effects. It could not have been anything other than that. So really, all it did when I copper lined that electrostatic influence I noticed started happening, and then whoops. Let me stop for a second and move my markers here. There we go. It had to be that the way the thing was acting. So I decided to tear it apart and put the shielding in there. And I honestly, to this day, believe it was nothing more than the finish that I put on that wood finally curing. And
All right.
yeah, and I just accidentally generated a situation where an electrostatic charge could sit on the surface of the inside surface of this thing, and the outside surface for that matter. But once I put the copper in it, then all that silliness stopped, and it went back working the way it did when I first put it together. It worked fine, and it worked fine for several months, and then all of a sudden I started seeing these funny deflections and changes in the data set. So I stopped actually trying to do any experiments. I started trying to analyze what was happening and what was causing it. That was really the only modification that got made to it.
Yeah. Well, apart from the Coke. The Coke bottles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, you do know you've got to do the Pepsi challenge now.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been telling me that.
I see. Where is it? Ace Fox 1 is saying it's less than 1%. Seems amazing without strict isolation, temperature controls, etc. But you do have a really stable environment for the Cavendish, actually, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. The temperature out here will never vary, especially during the period of an experiment, by more than a degree centigrade. It just doesn't. So I've not seen anything that I could point to and say, oh yeah, that must have been a temperature effect. I've just not seen it. Now Cavendish found that to be true, and he did a bunch of tests on his device. But the way he tested it was by heating up the lead balls to see what effect that would have, and then bringing them in proximity to the cabinet. And I can understand well, I think we can all understand what happened. You put a large heated mass close to one side of this cabinet and nothing on the opposite side, and it's quite easy then to generate a convective current of circulating air inside that thing.
Yeah.
But here I don't have that. I've got the lead balls and the cabinet that are pretty much staying at exactly the same temperature. Now the lead won't, it's not going to heat up or cool off as fast as the wood does for sure. But I'm not making any gigantic temperature changes either. Like I say, the most temperature change you'll see over the course of 3 hours is maybe 1 degree C.
Yeah. What kind of wood was it again that you built it from?
What I use is a wood that's called sapele. But it's mahogany basically. It's it's one of the 5 species of African wood that falls into the category of mahogany.
Right.
Could have made it out of anything, but Cavendish said he built his out of mahogany, 3/4 inch thick mahogany. So I built mine out of 3/4 inch thick mahogany. if you're going to try to be authentic, try to be as authentic as you can. And
Yeah,
that's what I did.
If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. That's what I say. But you're not going to get with that kind of wood. That's solid. That's not going to. You're going to get very, very minimal expansion contraction with that quality of wood. I mean, especially. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's a very stable.
If you only got temperature variation of like within 1 degree, and presumably the humidity is not going to waver during an observation as well. I mean, that's absolutely solid. So what are the latest complaints from the flares, Blue?
Oh, anything they can think of. I mean, just any bullshit they can come up with. Let's see. Cuddly's asking me how many watts of electrical power are going into the room for lighting and electronics. There are 6 fluorescent, well, actually 7. Let's see, if I counted that, that's 26 fluorescent tubes up in the ceiling, which stay on pretty much all the time. And the only other, well, got a refrigerator out here, plus a computer sitting here, plus a little window air conditioner that I use to keep this place at pretty constant temperature. So I don't know what the total power is. I'd have to go through and work that all out, but none of it's really close to the enclosure. None of it's about as well. The torsion balance is sitting about as far away from anything electrical as it possibly could be.
Well, I think the thing is though that everything in that environment is constant. You know.
Yeah.
So if you're going to see a trend of deviation with movement with the balls and stuff, it's well, your pizza's ready again.
Yeah. Damn timer. Okay, we're good.
You see in the comments that I said that in my house the cooking timer is the smoke alarm. That's what we use. Mrs. John isn't here, so I won't get slapped across the head. So it's okay.
There you go.
What's that constant thumping noise in the background?
The camera.
Is it?
Well, actually, what you may be hearing is the air conditioner.
No.
Constant humming sound. I doubt you can hear the camera. It goes off every 20 seconds.
There's like a do in the background.
I don't know.
Just wondering.
Must be the air
Wondering
conditioner.
what it was.
Let's see. Lefty was asking about the temperature effects on Young's modulus of the wire. Well, in that sort of very tight temperature range, it's any effect I think is very, very slight. But even so, I'm measuring the oscillation periods for each of the tests. So that tends to take that concern out. Still got 25 people watching. Hey, thanks everybody.
I just posted in the live chat on Discord my latest solar image, and also the NASA SOHO full disk image of the sun for the same day. This is on the what was it, the 1st of July. Just if anyone's interested.
Wow, that's pretty.
It's pretty amazing resolution.
That would be you on the bottom, right?
No, I'm the color image.
Oh wow!
And NASA SOHO is the grayscale. Yeah.
Now I am impressed. That's incredible.
Yeah. It's I was really surprised. So that granulation around the sunspot, those are convection cells, and they are about 1 to 1,500 miles across, to give you an idea of the scale. You know, the sun is very, very big, obviously, but that's the size of, to give you an idea of what, you know, the scale of what you're actually looking at. So that sunspot is many thousands of miles in diameter.
Yeah, I was going to say the Earth would fit quite handily in that spot, wouldn't it?
See, Two Left Thumbs has just said, could you paste a link to John's channel? But I do have a channel, but I don't have any content on it. None. I do have quite a few subscribers for some strange reason. but if you can look me up on Flickr or on Instagram. I don't have much stuff on Instagram, but John Watson Astro, John with no H, John Watson Astro. I post most of my stuff on Flickr.
Let's see if I can figure out a way to add this. Actually, I think I'll go back to this. Let me see if I can add something. Add a window capture. Oh, crap. That thing will just have to wait.
You're eating a lot of pizza, Blue. What's your cholesterol?
That's what we're looking at. Now I can't see the stream, so are you watching the stream, John?
No, just I've got it. I'm watching the live chat, but I've got it paused, so I can't see it. People in the chat could say whether or not they could see it.
Well, if you guys are seeing this, and you should be seeing it, that view at the top is the color one is the sunspot John made the photograph of. And the bottom one comes from some chicken shit satellite. Who needs those things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to shut that back off. Go back over to the stream. Yeah, it showed up. I could see it on the live stream.
I've got Mrs. John calling me, so I'm gonna drop and come back.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, trying to run this thing with a single monitor is not something I've got the hang of. Not something I've been able to figure out yet. I think I need to sharpen my Discord or my OBS skills a bit. Hello, Charlie. And watching the way that granulation moves around on the surface of the sun is fascinating. I agree. Yeah, where's the salt? I don't know where the salt is. That's incredible detail that John was able to get with his telescope. Just amazing. Yeah, all is good, Charlie. All is good. I've been wanting to run this thing, and I've just been tied up doing other stuff. So I thought today I'd get out here and do a quick one. I think I'll probably put the weights back in the neutral position. I need to recenter the beam, the balance. So I think I'm going to make a slight tweak to it and let it settle down. Maybe run it again tomorrow evening or something. I'm not sure. So we'll get back on the timer again. Let's see where we are with the time lapse. So it looks like about another another 30 minutes or so. Hey, shout out to Judy Bassett for 10 euros. Thank you, Judy. For something, huh? Okay. We'll spend it on something in that case. That's perfect. I really appreciate it. Oh, what's this thing doing? Just oscillating. So we're coming up on close to the midpoint of the oscillation period in terms of time, and this we're going to be at around 154, something like that. I'll make a note of that. So let's see. See if that makes any sense. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. Those midpoint times don't always work. Don't always work out the way they appear. You'll get two different midpoints depending on whether the thing's swinging upscale or downscale. Oh, beer for Joker. Yeah. He'll drink some beer, trust me. I know. I've seen him do it. Okay. That'll take care of that for a few minutes. So, history doesn't say whether Tesla's pigeon was a pretty pigeon or not, huh? That's funny. And Joker is definitely a party animal. That dog is absolutely crazy. He's up to about 90 pounds now, and he thinks he's a damn lap dog. He jumped on me last night, so I'm carrying some brand new fresh scratches. Oh boy, Chris is watching Tusk's cooking video and this thing all at the same time. Yeah, that would get confusing, all right. And Ace Fox. What's wrong with octal? Come on. I like octal. It's useful. All our aircraft transponder codes are octal.
Victor, Victor, Roger, Roger. 270.
Hmm? Say what?
270.
270.
Roger, Roger.
Captain over, Captain under, and Captain done. It's a great flick. I love that flick. Hello, Zep. We're doing great, buddy. These guys in the chat are always hilarious. I love just reading this stuff. Have you seen the latest Globebusters video, John? Where
No, I don't. I don't. I'm not subscribed. Do you think I should?
no, not necessarily. They have they have found themselves a supposed walking, talking former F-16 fighter pilot that's a flat earther.
Fuck off.
I listened to part of it yesterday. I'm in no position to say whether the guy's a pilot or isn't a pilot. I'm sure he is. If he says he is, that's good enough. But he just said some really strange things, I thought.
It's not possible. Surely. Don't call me surely.
Yeah.
That an F-16 pilot is a flat earther. I don't believe that. I just right from the get-go, no. That simply can't be true. One of my friends actually is an F-16 pilot in the Norwegian Air Force. And I know, I'm not a pilot, but your piece is ready, Blue.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, shit. I mean, I'm teaching you to suck eggs. Fuck me. You can't go through the training that's required to become an F pilot and believe the Earth is flat.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
Well, the guy was relating a. I got to go back and listen to it again because maybe I heard it wrong, but the guy was relating a story, a war story. We all know how war stories go, but about a surface-to-air missile being shot at him, and he said two things that I found curious. He said, right 2 o'clock. Okay. In pilot jargon, you don't need to say right 2 o'clock. Of course 2 o'clock is to the right, you dipshit. Where else would it be? But then he tried to read out he gave a bearing. I don't know if that was to or from this surface-to-air missile, but the bearing he used was 2045. I'm not sure about what our military may use that would be different, but the bearings I'm familiar with start at 1 and go to 360 and then start over again.
Yeah.
So I found that rather strange.
So in corporation with the first thing he said that the bearing was what was it,
2045. That's just
no.
That makes no sense.
No.
But who knows, as Rob Barton points out, anything could happen. People do have things happen to them mentally. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not going to say the guy wasn't an F-16 pilot. It's just he said a couple of things like that really makes me curious.
Well, there's plenty of stolen valor guys out there.
Yeah, there are. That's a fact. And I'm not accusing the guy of that by any stretch. I would never. I don't do that unless I'm pretty damn sure.
Well, no, I mean, just neither am I. I'm just obviously just saying that's a possibility as well.
Then he was trying to emulate radio communications, which is something that's so standard. I mean, you don't have to have done it, for all your life. Just concentrated for a few years, and that jargon is locked in your brain to the point that you can't. It becomes a part of you, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like talking to one thing you find out is that radio communications are very standardized, and things are said the same way all the time.
Yeah.
Particularly air traffic control, they've got a certain sequence they say things in, and they don't ever deviate from it.
Yeah. I mean that's something that is stuck with me, and I have unfortunately these days I suffer from PTSD from almost getting killed too many times when I was a commercial diver, and my partner. I don't remember it, but she tells me what I've, shouted out in my sleep, and there are VHF language, that doesn't make any sense really to your ordinary person.
Yeah.
Like crane commands, how to order a crane driver to do what you want, this kind of thing, and it becomes hardwired. It's literally life and death. You have to communicate in an extremely certain and distinct way to over radio.
That's right.
In critical situations, but yeah.
Ace Fox in the chat. Yes, so transponder code 7890. I love that. Once you go past 7777, you're done.
Jose JG is here.
JG here? Where's JG?
Yeah.
Yeah, runway 45, right. Right, Lefty. That's a mistake that actually they made in the movie Catch Me If You Can. Some knucklehead decided to call it runway 43 or something like that. Jesus Christ. You can't have runway 43, you dipshits. No, but it's That's a fact. You expect to hear things a certain way. And it makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier when it's done the same way. So I don't know. Maybe they got him a flat Earth pilot. Maybe not. Time will tell, I suppose.
I broke the stream. I joined and it's buffering on YouTube.
Hello, Jose.
Oh, God damn it, he's here.
Yeah, you're really low. Can you bring the volume up at all?
Check 1, 2. I'll fix it. Yeah,
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, bring it on up.
I always like it. I always like it when I end up somewhere else with Jose, and he's not the guy in charge. He's just another guy, and we're like equals. It's quite a reassuring experience.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of microphone issue. You probably heard me because I'm speaking loud and close to the microphone. But I gotta figure it out, so I'll be back shortly.
Yeah, okay.
You don't sound too bad. Sounds all right.
Yeah, that was readable.
You know, in my mind, Blue, it sounds a bit like you're on board a German diesel-powered U-boat.
Yeah, I know. It's that.
That clanking, that continuous noise. I mean, it's not. It's very, very faint. It's not like a problem or anything. But just I can hear it.
Other than going to push to
It's like the
talk,
hunt for Red October or something.
other than going to push to talk, that's the only thing I could do with it. That's just that air conditioning system. That's all.
No. It's not. It really doesn't. No, I'm not. You know, it's not. I can just kind of hear it in the background. It's not like an overpowering noise or anything. But yeah. Are you also building? You have secret plans to build a super U-boat to take over the world or something?
No. I had to give up on that. I couldn't. I found out I needed a stock of canaffordium and didn't know where to get it. Ace Fox is talking about F-16's emergency power. Hydrazine, huh? Really? I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Next time, oh yeah. There's Yeah, apparently one or two people are watching a guy called Tusk.
Yeah.
Do you know that guy,
Yeah,
Blue?
I do.
Tusk. He's a good guy. I met him a few weeks ago in Edinburgh. He's a good man. He's a very keen gardener, and it just so happens that my father, my father had a garden centre when I was a kid, and so I took Tusk half a dozen heathers, like, I don't know if you've ever seen, you get wild heather, but there's like loads and loads and loads of varieties of heathers. Like you've got say the wild heather is like a wolf, and cultivated heathers are like, domesticated dogs. So I took them down, and I met him, and he gave me a bottle of whiskey for my troubles, which was quite nice.
Very nice.
So,
Hello, I'm new.
Hello, Neve.
how you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. I was checking on my audio settings and I don't know, strange. Might be a little low, but this is the best I can do.
It's good.
Sounds okay to me now.
Yeah, and I think if it sounds low for YouTube, it's best for them. Thank you.
You and John actually look pretty much equal on OBS.
Very good, excellent. John, I know it's really hot, but how do you call those Ireland dresses? It's like a quilt, right?
The
Men dress, a men dress.
Are you trying to bust my balls? Is that what's happening?
No, I'm just curious. What's the term for that?
The Ireland dresses. Is that what you said?
Yeah, men dresses. What are the men skirts that Ireland men use?
I think what you're incorrectly referring to is Scottish kilts.
Okay, and you don't wear those?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm just messing with you, man. It's all good.
Oh, no shit.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to make it, not PG. This is not my room, and I don't want to make it too cringy for everybody else.
You know
if I'd had a bit more to drink, my response might have been non PG-13. But thankfully, I'm in control, and it's okay.
You know why they wear the kilts, right? Right, Jose?
I am not sure. No.
Well, they wear kilts because sheep can hear zippers from miles and miles away.
Yeah, it's easier to fuck with sheep.
Oh, very good.
Okay, that's my only joke for the day.
Somebody say that I sound echoey. I don't know if it's because I changed some settings and I might be getting feedback, or it's just my sound is just weird.
If you do, it's probably because of me, because I'm not on the headphones out here, and I'm just on the speakers, and I'm sure that everybody's hearing a little bit of an echo. I've got the speakers down as low as I can turn them and still be able to hear you guys.
I don't.
Good, yeah, it sounds really decent, and I had to change my settings because there was an update on my laptop, and all my settings changed, so I'm tweaking it as I go today.
I didn't hear any echo actually myself.
Very good, very good. Hey, off topic, a really quick comment on Conor McGregor. What happened, man? His leg meltdown, one of his ankles meltdown at the end of the first round, and he broke his snapped. The biggest fighter on Ireland broke yesterday, man. He got beat at the end of the round, bro.
Yeah,
He needs to stop, that boy.
broke his
He
ankle,
needs
right?
to stop. His time is over.
Oh, he broke his a little above the ankle, like not in an actual shin, but dude, it was a nasty break. Yeah. Oh man, nasty.
He's a wild man, but I think he should stop now, and just look back on a successful career, and not make a fool of himself. That's what I think.
Yeah, I got a prediction on him. He maybe within a year or so, when he's strong enough, his leg and healing, maybe he'll throw one more fight, But he needs to come in a little more humble, a little less nasty, and uh, could be a fun last fight for him.
You can't ask somebody like that to be humble and behave themselves, and he's wild.
Yeah, he's Ireland. Yeah, it's like telling you no swearing. I understand.
But it's always sad to see anyone who just outstays their time of greatness. It's kind of like Frank Sinatra. He went on too long, and it was just kind of a bit pathetic towards the end. He should have stopped. And there's a time when fighters just need to stop, and now would be a good time for
Ric Flair still steps on the ring. What the hell? He's like 80, right? Ric Flair. Holy hell, man.
one of my favorite YouTube videos is I can't remember I don't know his name, but there was a really cocky Irish fighter in MMA that was absolutely certain that he was going to be victorious, and he got the shit kicked out of him. You should look it up. Cocky Irish fighter on YouTube. It was just marvelous.
Michael Bisping is good. Michael Bisping is okay. And I keep messing with you because I know you're Scottish and I call you're Ireland, but it's all fun and games, man. No disrespect.
I don't mind. I don't mind being mistaken for an Irishman. Just don't mistake me for an Englishman. That's all I'm saying. But I'm not a rabid Scottish nationalist. I really am not. I really do just wish that we could all just get along. So there are lots of people in Scotland who are just horrible with all this kind of anti-English sentiment, and I don't align with that. I don't like it. And I am a patriot. That's hopefully that's not a bad word. But yeah, I don't mind it, and I think you can Jose, you can bust my balls on this subject as much as you like, and I don't
John,
mind.
perfect segue because I see there's a ball like hanging. It looks like a. I mean, it's not hanging from this blue string on screen, blue, on your Cavendish, but 5:40 p.m. Right? That's the time that you get. And then the test is working because I see that red laser dot moving very slowly.
Gotta turn
I
my
think it's
volume back up a
working
little.
properly.
I'm playing around with OBS and trying to get this noise gate setting correct.
Good, good, yeah, yeah. It's a tricky one, but at least it's directly on OBS, right? You don't have an extra audio settings software thing.
Yeah, I think I've got it.
No, you don't have the streak. Yeah, you're messing with it.
I've got it close now, so there should not be too much echo for the people outside.
Yeah, Ace Fox says sounds good now. No echo now.
Cool. Whoops.
Uh-oh. Is the test working as predicted, Blue? The red laser is moving slowly but steady.
Oh yeah, it's working just exactly like it's supposed to, Jose. It it has not failed us yet. Works every time.
That's good. That's a success, man. I appreciate you doing this for this corner of the YouTube. It was something for you, physical, something for you to do. Buy the book, and I think it's a good thing that you tackle this beast, this very slow moving, tedious beast.
Oh yeah, they don't move very fast, that's for sure.
Now, BM Furble was the name that I recognized from the few years back that he did a lot of Cavendish experiments, a lot of Cavendish tests. But he did not do the setting that you did. He didn't do exactly the scale of the actual original Cavendish. But so he did an alternative experiment. What was with BM Furble that he had so many fails before he was actually able to make it work properly? If you know about it.
I think he had a lot of issues with just the location he was in, and the fact that he had the fact that he an apartment complex, and he had his torsion balance itself bended from the roof or the ceiling, but so that has a habit of going to transmit vibrations from people walking around the building, and I know all of that was a lot of problem for him. Plus air currents.
I'm not sure. He was he was not on the ground floor, was he?
No, he wasn't.
No,
Wasn't.
no, it
He had to
wasn't
be.
ideal.
Yeah, he had to be really careful, and he ended up. I think he had all of his stuff a lot more automated than I. He could move the weights and stuff remotely, and he ended up literally shutting off that room that he had it in, taping the door closed, like just air current. But his was not sealed up the way mine, the way Cavendish had. So that was a lot of what BM had to go through. the iterations of trying to figure out which wire to use. Not an easy thing.
I bet it's not. But maybe if Chris Berry attempt to do it a few more times, maybe he'll pull it off. He just need a stronger fishing line. Boom.
Yeah, I think as soon as Chris can work out exactly which fishing line he wants to use, I'm sure he'll be. It's funny how
That is
people.
awesome, man.
Me, it's having gone through all of this. It's amusing to me now to look at these attempts at Cavendish and think, see how people think. They literally, people like Chris literally think you can just on the spur of the moment run out in the garage and do a Cavendish experiment. I don't think so. In fact, I'm 100% that will. So very, very sensitive.
I heard there was a quote or a statement made by a flat earther. I don't remember who exactly. Might be either Chris or Travis or Sleeping Warrior, one of them. Like, oh, but flat earthers have done the Cavendish experiment many times and they can make it work, but the ballers cannot build actual accurate Cavendish. Something like that along those lines. That's crazy to listen to that.
Yeah, they can believe whatever they want.
Yeah. It might have been Brian Leakett who said that too. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, you got Chris Berry, who made like some kind of half-assed Cavendish experiment in his garage in an afternoon, and you've got people like Brian Leakey. I mean, fuck me. It's astonishing that that people like this think that they have actually something to say about 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 the Cavendish experiment. And Brian Leakey recently second guessing the engineers that built LIGO. Jesus fucking Christ! Honestly, Jesus.
Hey, Blue, you might have the gate too strong and it's cutting you up a little bit. That's feedback from the YouTube chat.
Oh, okay. I can adjust that a little bit.
I thought you sounded okay, but was it monochromatic was saying that you sounded bad? I didn't hear that.
Let me try it about like that. See if that's any better. Could have been too that I was just a little too far away from the microphone.
I just say to Ace Fox 1, I a couple of years ago now, I went to Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, for a wedding, and I took my my kilt and all the paraphernalia, and was standing at the bar in at the reception, and this girl walked up to me and said, "Is it true?" And I'm like, "Is what true?" You know, under your kilt, is it true? And I'm like, "Well, yes, it is true." And she fucking checked. She got down on the floor and put her head up my kilt and to inspect my genitalia. And and apparently that's okay. Imagine, if you will, if I had done that to a woman, I would have been arrested, rightly so, and charged, and probably would be served some jail time. So anyway, just as an aside, that's what I've got to say about that. Sorry, carry on.
Well, testing is complete now. Unfortunately, the camera refused to stitch all that shit together and make a continuous time lapse. So there's a way of doing it. I've got to go. I always have to look when it does this. I have to go look it up in the book. Figure out how to make it work. But it's not a big deal. So it's been a fun stream today. Thank everybody for showing up. It's time for me to go feed Joker. So I think I'll be headed out of here. I see Jose dropped apparently. Still hear me, John?
Yeah.
Jose dropped out. And I'm going to end the stream and drop out myself. Hey, man, thanks for coming by and keeping me company.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, as I said, I'm home alone, so
There you go.
it's been nice just to hang out and shoot the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, thanks for showing me that, or showing all of us that sun photo. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that turned out pretty good, that one.
Hell, who needs all these $1 billion satellites? We got John. He makes better pictures anyway.
Yeah. The conditions, believe it or not, the conditions weren't actually that good. So there is the potential for much clearer images than that. But we have problems with clear skies in Scotland, obviously.
Yeah.
But watch this space. No pun intended.
That has a way of happening at northern latitude.
I was astonished when I processed that. I was like, "Holy shit! Look at that!"
It's beautiful. Absolutely is. Well, listen, bud, everybody in the chat, thanks for showing up today. We'll do this again real soon. And John, I'm gonna.
Yeah.